Hello, hope everybody's doing well and having a good day so far. Here we go. So we're going to be doing function operations and composition of functions. So function operations, some of these things are going to be pretty simple to do. For instance, I have given you two functions right here. I've given you f of x and I've given you g of x. And we are going to do all these different things. This function notation right here, this one means I'm supposed to add them together. Writing it like this is the exact same thing as if I were to write it like this. So f plus g of x also means f of x plus g of x. So what I've just written here is the same as that. F minus g of x, this guy right here, is the same thing as writing f of x minus g of x. So I just wrote it that way because you might see it either way. This guy, the multiplication, you might see that f of x times g of x. And for the division, f divided by g, I would write f of x on top divided by g of x on bottom. Okay, so we're going to do all those four things here. So let's do them. So adding. So when I add these two things together, I basically just put them and put a plus sign between. I have a square root of x plus 4 minus 3 plus, and then another one, x plus 4. Now when I look at that, there's not much that goes together. When I look at it, the square roots, nothing's going to happen to that. There's no x matching, so those guys are going to stay the same. All I have to do is put my negative 3 and my 4 together. So there's really not a whole lot to do. I'm going to leave a square root of x plus 4 alone. I'm going to leave the positive x alone, and then I have a negative 3 plus 4, so that makes positive 1. And that's it. I'm done. All right, subtraction. So the only difference with subtraction is we're just going to have to worry about some signs. So square root of x plus 4 minus 3 minus, and then x plus 4. All right, so again, the square root of x plus 4 just stays there. I'm going to put the x part next. So this piece right here I'm going to put next, but it has a minus in front of it. So I'm just going to put minus x. And then again at the back I have negative 3, but this time it's minus 4. So negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7. So there's not a whole lot to do. All right, I'm going to leave that multiplication one till last. And in fact, let me make a little space for that because that one's going to be a little gross. That'll be the worst one. But I'm going to put f of x divided by g of x down here. Let's just do that one, and then we'll do save the difficult one for last. All right, f of x divided by g of x. So let's just go ahead and write that as a fraction. So I'm just going to put f of x, square root of x plus 4 minus 3, put that on top. And on the bottom, I'll just put g of x, x plus 4. Okay. All right. Now this last one, this multiplication. So I have to take f of x and multiply by g of x. So I'm going to put them in parentheses when I do that. I'm going to write it on the line. Well, I think I can fit it right here. All right, so square root of x plus 4 minus 3, and then I have x plus 4. So I am going to FOIL this out. I'm going to multiply this times this, that times that, then this times this, and that times that. Okay. All right, so square root of x plus 4 times x. I can't really like do anything with that. All I do is I write x times the square root of x plus 4. So I have just done this. Now, same thing here. Multiply those. I would get a positive 4 out front, and then have square root of x plus 4. And then I would do the inside, so minus 3x, and then the last part, and minus 12. So this is actually easier for me because I can't really do anything. There's no common terms to put together, so I'm finished. Okay. Now the question also did say state the domain of each new function. So I'm going to write that in red next to it. So first of all, this guy right here has no problems at all. You can put any x you want in there. And this guy over here though, remember that x plus 4 has to stay greater than or equal to 0. You can't have a negative inside there. So that would mean if I subtract 4, I get x is greater than or equal to negative 4. So that's the domain. All right, so when I look at these problems, this first one, f of x plus g of x, I see that same guy that I had earlier. And he has a problem, and whenever x is less than negative 4, so I'm going to keep the x is greater than or equal to negative 4. So that new domain for that part, since he still has that same piece, my domain here is going to be only use x is greater than or equal to negative 4. All right, same for the next one below it. He still has this issue right here with this piece right there. So same domain. Domain is x is greater than or equal to -4. Because if you use an x less than -4, like -5, if you try to put a -5 right here, then that's going to be a -1 inside the radical, and we can't use that. All right, this guy over here, same issue, f of x times g of x. So he has that thing twice, and so I'm going to need to basically tell you that x has to be greater than or equal to -4 for this one, because that problem keeps reoccurring. Now, over here, on this last problem, I have another little scenario. Not only do I have this piece again, but I also got this expression on the bottom. And remember, on the bottom here, you can't have the bottom be 0, so x cannot be -4 in this case. So I want to write the same thing that I have right here, but I don't want the equal bar. So I'm going to limit it like this. My domain, oopsie, is going to be, I'll just write it over. My domain is going to be x is greater than -4, because I want greater than or equal to -4 because of this, and that's the same as that I had earlier. But I don't want the equal part anymore because I can't have equal to -4, because now I have a problem with that on the bottom. All right, and last question here. This one says f times g of 12. So I already have an expression for f times g. So there's a couple different ways that you could do this problem. Let me get my pen back. So I could do this, or I could do this as f of 12 times g of 12. So I could plug 12 into each problem, f and g, and then multiply the answers. Or I could look at this answer that I did up here, and I could plug 12 into this. All right, so I think I'm going to go with this route instead. I'm going to plug 12 into each of my original problems and then get the answer. So f of 12. So that would be me plugging it into this guy right here. So I'd have square root of 12 plus 4 minus 3 out here times, let's plug 12 into this. And I know 12 plus 4 is 16. All right, so let's see what we get. The square root of 12 plus 4, so the square root of 16 is 4. So I get 4 minus 3 times 16. So that's 1 times 16, so that is 16. And there we go. So just some little operations. Those are operations with functions. All right, so on this last thing that we have to do is composition of functions. Now you should recognize this from Algebra 2. Remember f of g of x, you say this g of f of x, and there's another way to write it. If you write f of g of x, that little circle right there, like this doesn't say fog, this doesn't say goff, all right? That little O is kind of like the letter of, or the word of, sorry. So when you have f of g of x, just this means to plug g into f, all right? And g of f of x, so the outside guy is the boss, remember? So you plug f into g. All right, so let's try that here. So in letter A says f of g of x. So it means I had to take all of g and plug it into f right there. So if I do that, I would write down 3 blank space, because this is my pattern for f, 3 blank space plus 2. And in that blank space, I put g, I put the 5 minus 2x. So you should recognize this from Algebra 2. And so let's multiply that out. I get 15 minus 6x plus 2. Let's see, I get 17 minus 6x. Or you could say negative 6x plus 17. Either way you want to write it. All right, so this guy here, this one has a number. So when it has a number, I'm going to get a number for an answer. This says g of f of -4. So I think it's easier to just go ahead and, because I don't want to do all this work of plugging stuff into each other, why not just find f of -4? So f of -4 is me plugging -4 into this. So 3 times -4 plus 2. So it'd be -12 plus 2, so it'd be -10. So now I have to take that, and I know that this is -10 now. So now I want g of -10. So that means I'm going to plug -10 into this guy. So 5 minus 2 times -10. So that would be 5 plus 20, so 25. And there I go. So ask a number, get a number. All right, so the last one here is just a little bit harder with the function here. So this first guy, notice I have h of x is a quadratic, p of x is here, so it's a little bit easier. So we're going to do p of h of x. So that means that p is the boss. So I'm going to write down p, which is x minus 3. So I have something minus 3. So in that blank space, I'm going to be putting h of x, this whole thing. So I'll put x squared plus 5x minus 1, just like we would plug in a number. All right, so all I have left to do is simplify. X squared doesn't get touched, the 5x doesn't get touched, but the minus 1 and the minus 3 make minus 4. So that one was pretty easy. All right, this next one. Remember that this h with a circle there means h of p of x. Okay, so it means I have to write h down. So h is the boss here. So I write down something squared plus 5 times something minus 1. So in each of those something spots, I'm going to stick p of x in there. So I'm going to put x minus 3, x minus 3. So this is a little bit annoying to work out because you notice I have this x minus 3 squared. Well, that's x minus 3. I have to write it twice. I'm going to work that out. Here I can just multiply my 5 through, so plus 5x minus 15 minus 1. So over here, let's FOIL this out. X times x is x squared. X times negative 3 in the back is negative 3x. The inside part makes negative 3x again. And finally, the negative 3 times negative 3 makes positive 9. And then I have plus 5x minus 16 because these two make 16. All right, so let's see. So I got x squared. So that's the worst it's going to get. I have negative 3x, so that's negative 6x. And negative 6x plus 5x would be negative 1x. So everything's gone except the 9 minus 16, and 9 minus 16 is negative 7. All right, so there we go. All right, so this is kind of weird. Letter C says p of x. So that means I have to plug p into itself. So p of x says to do something minus 3. So something minus 3. So then I plug that back into itself. So I put something minus 3 back into something minus 3. And then I go ahead and simplify. So I basically get x minus 3 minus 3. So that turns into x minus 6. So you don't often do that, but you know, it's just a thing. All right, and this last one right here. Remember that this also means p of h of negative 3. So we already know what p of h of x. So if I wanted to, since I already have that over here, I could just plug negative 3 into this guy right here and right here. But let's just go ahead and do it like the easier way, like from the beginning. H of negative 3. So that means I need to plug negative 3 into this guy right here. So I would get negative 3 squared plus 5 times negative 3 minus 1. So it'd be 9 minus 15 minus 1. So let's see, that would be negative 6 minus 1, so it'd be negative 7. All right, and then I have, now that I know that this is negative 7, I'm going to do p of that number, negative 7. So I'm going to plug negative 7 into here. So negative 7 minus 3, that would be negative 10. And there's my answer, which is the same thing I should get if I would have plugged 3 into this guy over here. So let's check it out. So it would be negative 3 squared plus 5 times negative 3 minus 4. All right, so let me hold on to that. I would get 9 minus 15 minus 4. 9 minus 15 minus 4. So 9 minus 15 is negative 6, and negative 6 minus 4 is negative 10. So same thing. All right. All right, and yippee-doo, that's it. All right, I'll see you in class. Bye-bye.